everybody. Welcome to the Clubroom, presented by the Win Again Academy. My name is Mark Moyer, and I'm your host for today's event. And I will be talking all about how to leverage LinkedIn to really boost, whether it's your business or your career, and really take it to a whole new level. And this is something I can present on for hours and hours, and I won't do that today, thankfully. But what I do want to do is show just a few sort of simple strategies and tips that you can implement that really will not only bring in some other business, but also get more eyeballs on your profile. And these are ones that really have, for whatever reasons, people don't seem to use. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm doing that right now, just to show you a few things that some people have in place, but other people don't. First and foremost, this is obviously a screenshot of, or a live screen of, my profile. And you'll see that I've got a picture here. People talk about the picture all the time. It's essential to have not only a picture there, but something that is somewhat professional. It doesn't need to be perfectly buttoned up. You don't need to have that blue high school photo background, but something that's maybe business casual, but something that really shows who you are, and make sure that they can see your face, and also make sure that there's nobody's arm or beer bottle or something in the picture. Secondly, I like to have something that I call, it's going to be a banner photo that replaces what I call the LinkedIn constellation. It's that light blue thing that looks like it has a bunch of stars on it. But what I like to do is have something that either shows me, in this case here, speaking to a crowd, but you can also have, for example, a picture of the New York City skyline or the ocean or something, but just something for people to look at that doesn't have that generic background there. Third is to have a title. Now, right here is the area that LinkedIn, what they do is they automatically will put as a default, it might say vice president at Morgan Stanley, or analyst at wherever it is, or marketing specialist at, because all it's taking is automatically your title and your company and putting it there. So what I want you to do is go in there and instead tell people what you do, tell people what you are good at and strong at, and what you bring to the table. In my case, people will know right away. I'm a transition coach. I help athletes, entrepreneurs, and veterans. I also founded the Win Again Academy, and I've started this whole Clubroom event series. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a podcast host, and that sort of scratches the surface, but at least people will know right away what it is that, who it is that they're connecting with. So that's very important to have. There's an about section that is also, in my opinion, essential for you to have a really tight descriptive area that talks about not just who you are, but what you're bringing to the table. In my case here, I'm not going to say something in the third person like, Mark is a consistent performer with blah, 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 using a lot of big corporate words. No one gives a crap about that. Instead, talk to your reader. Talk to them as if you're speaking to them directly. So in my case here, I'm saying, if you're an elite athlete trying to figure out what's next for you after the game, I offer an athlete community and a support team where you can go for answers for some of the questions that surround your transition. So right off the bat, you know that if you are or were an athlete, that I'm your person to talk to. But it's all about giving you immediate and deliverable advice. So right there, I'm giving you what I'm bringing to the table for you. But I also talk about what I do specifically as a transition coach, etc. I advise people on any career transition. I also give some credibility thing where I've been a keynote speaker. I've also got my talking about my book, Win Again, available on Amazon, of course, for all of you interested in buying it. But also, I have my Make Your Mark podcast. I also run events in the Clubroom. So there's a lot to put in there for me. Obviously, other people are going to have less. But if you look to the right here, you'll see some of the people that LinkedIn suggests that people also viewed. So Marlon, for example, it just says Director of Player Engagement and Alumni for the Buffalo Bills, student at Liberty University, Associate Geology at. So you see what I mean, how some people, it's got Director of Bands at so-and-so, retired Navy SEAL, former NFL athlete Justin, etc. Ronnie Brown, also former NFL. There's Evan, by the way. He showed up as one of my guys. Now, to me, I think it's much better to lead in with this in the title. So again, profile picture, banner photo, title is essential, an about section that really rocks and tells people what you do. I also added in here some of the articles I've written for Forbes. I've also had some videos on YouTube and elsewhere. So it's important to add featured content and that you want to highlight. And then here, this is a lot of the activity. I make sure to get involved in the posts that people that I know and respect are involved with. So, but I don't just simply like an article. I always like to add comments, because to me, when you comment, you're engaging with that person. They will engage back with you, and things really grow from there. And then under my experience, and by the way, I'm whacking through this in world record time, but I'm doing this just to show that it's not too challenging and too difficult to create a great profile. So here I talk about a little bit more about what I do specifically under each thing, but I'm also talking about the things that I really like doing and want to keep doing. If you're really, really good at balancing a budget, but you hate doing it, don't mention that. It's okay. To me, LinkedIn should be basically your greatest hits. You're talking about the stuff that you're good at, that you want to keep on doing, and not the stuff that you may be good at that you just never want to do again. So stick to the greatest hits. I talk about my writing with Forbes, some of the work I did as a strategic advisor with some other companies going backwards here. And then I happen to have done some coaching, some more advisory work. And then I was with a search firm here. You can see the peak organization for, yikes, almost 20 years. That was a long time ago. Anyway, and then under education, I like to add a couple of things that I did. So I went to Colgate University, graduated with an econ degree a long time ago. Don't look at that date and don't do the math. But I was a member of a fraternity. I played some rugby and tennis and so forth. I was a DJ, and I did a bunch of other things that probably maybe shouldn't be mentioned on here. I'm a certified career coach. I've done some volunteer work, and I love to receive and sort of ask for recommendations. I'm not the person who's going to ask for 40 or 50 of them, but to me, it's important to have a few that really showcase and highlight some of the things that I bring to the table. So it's something I can't encourage you enough to do, to find certain specific people that you feel could offer you valuable recommendations. Scrolling through, I've got some interests here, but then what I like to do is show people that I'm a member of a lot of different groups. So if you just go to my profile sometime, and you can see a lot of them have to do with sports, a lot of them have to do with my school, Colgate. This was no, it was a different group here. NCAA after the game, hockey links, NHL. Obviously, I'm a big rugby fan, hockey fan, baseball fan, etc., football fan. But there's a lot of different groups that are here that I joined so that not only could I have access to some of the members, but I can also post content in, which I'll talk to you about in a few minutes. My schools, you'll see Babson. Am I following Babson? I don't even know how that happened. Anyway, and then I follow some companies and some of my fellow influencers. Yeah, because Tony Robbins is a good friend of mine. Not, but someday you never know. Maybe he'll want to know me. Anyway, so that's my profile, and I whacked through it real fast to show you that there are lots of different ways that you can add content to your profile that will really make it stand out. And this way, if anybody ever asks you, hey, can I look at your resume, or what's the best way to find out more about you? If you send them your profile and it's this robust, it's going to tell them almost everything they need to know about you. So try to work on really making your profile as robust as possible, because then whenever someone either runs a search on you, they'll find you and then they'll see what you're all about. But even better, when you're reaching out to people, they will absolutely look at your profile first before they accept. Usually they do. And if they see all of this, they're much more inclined to accept your invitation. Now, if you are looking for specific people, whether it's hiring managers, whether it's decision makers, or if you're looking for new clients for whatever business you're running, a lot of times what I like to do is I like to focus on really looking at fellow alumni, because to me, the 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever you spend at a college or university or any sort of school, a lot of times we've had lots of great experiences that we've had at that school. So from my perspective, I like to think that um, you know that we share the common bond. And so I can reach out to any fellow Colgate University student and just start talking about the school, the campus, the bars there, the sports, whatever it is. And we have that bond, and then we're off and running. So the one thing I will do is I will often start any search on this platform with Colgate University. Pretty easy to do that. I'm going to switch screens for a sec here. So I got to go to here and then back to this screen here, and we'll show you the Colgate page. So here, if I type in the search bar on the top here, Colgate, it shows up here. And this will tell you that there's 29,700 alums on the site. Obviously, if you look at a school like Penn State, et cetera, you'll see 300,000, et cetera. And this will show you where they live, where they work. There's all kinds of other categories, what they do, what they studied, and so forth. But best of all, what I like to do is I like to search within those alumni for something specific. So I might say, for example, I want to know all the alumni that either played hockey or involved with hockey. Well, there's almost 1,000. So now I can look down and see, okay, there's 264 that live and work or whatever is in the greater New York City area. I can pick them. And then from there, I either want to see where they work, or what they do. So, okay, business development. I do want to look at people that are involved with business development, so I'll click on that. So now there's going to be 61 here alums that have some form of hockey in their background, and on top of that are involved with business development. They're in the New York City area. So, for example, I might say, I wonder what Courtney does here. So I'm going to look at Courtney's background, and I'm going to see that she's, if I scroll down, I'll see that she's at Roku. She does head of media and platform client services. She's done business development for them. And then on top of that, I'm guessing in this case, she played field hockey, so that's cheating a little bit. But I might reach out to her and say, hey, as a fellow Colgate alum and business developer, would love to blah, 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 blah. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Or there may be somebody else in here. Let me go down now this guy here, Mike Borkowski, he's at Heidrick and Struggles, looks like. So that's a pretty well-known boutique search firm. And in fact, I think they were founded by a Colgate graduate. But anyway, what you'll see is that he probably, so he played some professional hockey. I'm guessing he played hockey at Colgate, graduated a few years ago, and now he's over here and he's overseeing a certain practice. So with that said, this is somebody that I might want to connect with. So I might, instead of hitting the word connect right here, I'm going to go over here more, and I want to send, whoops, it's not there. Let me hit connect, and then I'm going to add a message. I'm going to add a note that says, hello, Mike, as a fellow, oh geez, it's going to take forever to do, Colgate grad and hockey fan, etc. Thought it would be great to connect and discuss executive search stuff. I don't care. I'll make it prettier some other time. But anyway, and then I hope all is great, Mark. And then I'm just going to send it. All right, done. So too late, I can't take it away. So anyway, now this guy's going to get this invitation. You see it says pending here, and he may or may not accept it. But my position is, if I can reach out to effectively 100 mics, then what you're going to find is that at least 30, 40, 50 of them will accept that invitation. So what I can do is I could, and I didn't do it quick enough, but what I can do is take that personalized message, copy it, paste it into a Word document on my desktop. So this way, anytime I want to invite a fellow Colgate graduate who happens to have a certain background or common bond, whether it's executive search, whether it's hockey or rugby or whatever, and then I can paste it in there, send it, and just change the name every time. Hello, Mike. Hello, Bob. Hello, Sue. Hello, Nancy. Hello, whoever. And then I'm off and running, sending. And they will receive that invitation and be super excited that I've written a personalized message. They'll also say, wow, this guy used to do executive search. He has an interest in hockey also. be an interesting guy to talk to, and they'll click accept. And then we're off and running. So that's how I like to connect with people that could be future business partners, clients, their decision makers, etc. Now, Mike, obviously he's we'll say a younger, pretty much everybody's younger than me now, but a younger person in this practice. But if I need him to introduce me to others, I'm sure he would. So that's why it's so important to me to feel free to connect with almost anybody at any level who happens to be in a company and doing the type of work that you want to be involved with, because then they will, if they're too junior to make a decision themselves, they will likely go to their bosses and say, look, I think you should talk to this guy, Mark Moyer. He really knows his stuff. We should bring him in for an interview, or we should do business with this guy, etc. So don't necessarily decide on whether you should connect with someone or not based on their level of experience. As long as you have that common bond, they will connect you with the right person in their company if they need to. So remember, when you're connecting, also make sure that you offer your help or your expertise. So something I could have said in that invitation is, hey, is there anybody in my network that you'd be interested in meeting with or getting to know? I'm happy to make that introduction. When you offer things when you're networking, you become so much more appealing than the person's just asking for the business card, asking for the phone number, LinkedIn, whatever it is. So remember that. Whew. Lastly, and I know I'm whacking through this really quickly, but there's just so much to talk about and so much to do, but I just want to stick on a couple things today, is if you wanted to add content, for example, if there's, let's say you want to show everybody that you are an expert in, I don't know, let's say, an expert in networking and so forth. What you'll want to do is basically, let me just share the screen here. Oh, wait, I did the wrong one. Hang on one second. Let me go back to this one here. Sorry, folks. I have all these different LinkedIn screens queued up, so I want to make sure I do the right one here. There we go. So here, what I did the other day was to promote an upcoming event I had the other day in this an event here in the Clubroom. And what I did was we put in here a quote that Corey had said, and then I just add more content about the event. I talk about him, talk about what he brings to the table. We talk about the technology here in the Clubroom. And then I've got a little image there that I put in there. Obviously, this one got a lot of engagement, 3,500 views. Obviously, lots of comments, lots of likes, people engaged and so forth. That wouldn't happen if I never posted. So it's really important to consider posting something. Or there might be a different type of post. Let me go in here and I'll show you what I mean by that. Let me go through my thing. For example, here yesterday, I added this content about talking about job postings, and I said, look, don't answer jobs, don't use resumes, instead use a platform like LinkedIn to find jobs. And I was promoting basically today's thing, but now I've got also a video that I talk here about how to really use the platform like LinkedIn to expand your network, to grow it, and to really be able to reach out to people that are those senior decision makers and the influencers and that sort of thing, to make connections. And they will be the ones that will say to you, hey, Mark, would you ever consider working at our company? Instead of you saying, hey, are you guys hiring? Can I send you my resume? Because that almost never happens. So that was a lot of stuff right there. Before I go much further, just wanted to ask if you've got any specific questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a bit. If not, we can jump back to the tables in a minute. But what I wanted to do right there was really talk about the importance of making a robust profile, and then from there doing a search. And in this case here, I happen to use my alumnus, my Colgate University, but you can use a variety of different things. You can check other hockey networks and hockey groups, or any sports, any interest, photography, whatever it might be, or if you're into acting or real estate or finance or whatever it might be, make sure to put put those parameters in there. You can do searches. Then you can connect with people by referencing that common bond that you share with them, to the point where they say, wow, I'd love to connect with Mark or whoever you are. And then you're off and running, because then once you've got that connection going, you start a dialogue, you set up a phone call, you have that phone call that you talk about how you want to just ask their advice, ask for their insight, their really what they happen to have an expertise in, to the point where then they say to you, well, how can I help you? And you can say, well, I've given consideration to transitioning between this job and a different job, or I'm trying to grow my practice and I'd love to get your advice on that. And before you know it, that LinkedIn connection is turning into lots of new business. So obviously, if you have any further questions, chase me down directly. Go to my website, markmoyer.com. Anytime you can email me at mark@markmoyer.com. Also, you can go to that website. I should just share that link, shouldn't I? Or share that screen with you. This Clubroom is absolutely fantastic, by the way. It's got the ability to, the Win Again Clubroom, to network with all kinds of people. You can see how that's how it's set up, and it's just the technology in here is just absolutely phenomenal. The chairs don't necessarily look like that, but that's what you feel like, you're back in a live event again. And this will talk about some of the upcoming events. Just check it out anytime with the calendar, and you can register there. And here's a list of some of the previous ones that we've had. So please go to this website anytime. You go to the homepage, you can see everything else that we're talking about and doing with athletes, including some of the just a really cool intro video, I think. And from there, it's all about really learning how to take what you happen to have a lot of skill set in, especially if you're an athlete, and really channeling that athletic mindset and all the skills that you bring, that you learned as an athlete, that made you elite in the first place. And you can leverage that into amazing success in your next career. So anyway, I'd love to talk to you more about this. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime. You can also find me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, Facebook, and probably going to be twerking on TikTok at some point too. So anyway, no, I'm not going to be doing that. But thanks for paying attention and listening in on this, and we will have a chance to now go back to networking. Thanks all.